Welcome to the Horsemouth Podcast. It's my excuse to meet fascinating people and learn how they approach work, creativity, and problem solving. On today's episode, I have a very special guest with me. He is an exceptional badminton player, a reluctant chartered accountancy student, and a butter chicken connoisseur. As if that's not reason enough to sit down with him over a cup of coffee, he also happens to be the first ever Indian Aeropress Champion, National Barista Champion, and one amongst, if not the only Indian to earn the coveted distinction of a certified Q Grader from Melbourne, Australia. He has represented India in several international competitions across the world as a participant as well as a judge. Today, most people recognize him as the founder of the hugely popular Corridor 7 coffee roasters. It's a serious coffee company that has sparked a specialty coffee revolution across Nagpur and is now making its impact felt all across the country. This morning, however, this person has accidentally ended up on my podcast, which I can only construe as my stars aligning, if nothing else. So, without much further ado, please welcome Mr. Mithilesh Vazalwar.
I need to clap over.
No. So,
Thank
Mithilesh,
you, man. Thank you so much for the introduction.
So Mithilesh, I actually for my prep I went to the standing room
Okay.
yesterday,
Okay.
and I thought Wednesday afternoon I'll catch the cafe in its low time. I'll get a nice place to sit and I'll enjoy my coffee. However, I didn't realize that your Wednesday afternoon is most people's Saturday night. So, so I mean, that's amazing, first of all. And I spoke to the barista while I was waiting for my order, and he said that it only gets better. Better for the cafe and worse for them, because it's just, as the evening progresses, it becomes very hectic and it becomes very busy.
Yeah.
So do you think like somewhere like being so popular or so successful, is that like a boon and a curse? Are you planning on scaling up that project, or how do you approach that situation where it's so busy all the time?
Yeah. Okay, so honestly speaking, like I wouldn't call it that we are successful yet. We're there, we're doing fine, we're doing good, but the moment you say that you're successful, then either your targets are super low or you don't know what you're doing, to be very honest. So success is a long way to go. So boon and bane ka to, I don't know. If you ask like how do you do it, like how do you make sure that the cafes are kind of occupied or busy all the time? So I think since 2017, since we started, it has always been, so my approach in my head is like one cookie approach in a way, that if today you're doing a 100 rupee sale, just add a cookie the next week, that's it. Don't add like an entire menu. So grow it gradually, like add one more 110, make it 120, make it 130. That's the approach that honestly we've been working on, and that's the approach I'm a fan of. So I'm not really worried about like will we be able to continue, because हम लोग फिर खुद के ऊपर बहुत pressure नहीं ले रहे. We're taking it super easy and we're taking it what do you say, one step at a time, quite literally. About boon and bane, I mean, yeah, it happens. Yeah, sometimes it's very tricky where the expectations are there. When you have done something in the space, then the expectations are there, and sometimes you are not able to match it for sure. But one thing that has kind of helped us out quite a bit is that we don't do anything that is a crowd pleasing kind of a thing. We just want something that we love so that we can sell it. The simple question whenever a new menu is to be launched or new event is to be done or anything is to be done, the simple question is that would you really like to do it? Would you really like to be a part of it, and how? So even if you're doing a basic pasta, for example, we don't have pasta in the menu. I know that, and a lot of people really are not really happy about it. But even if we're doing a pasta, we would do like something very very special and unique about it. Just add one element of Corridor 7 in that.
Speaking of the menu, why don't you have pita bread and hummus on your menu?
Oh, we do.
You do?
Yeah, we
okay.
do.
I thought you were so traumatized maybe that you wouldn't know.
No. In fact, just yesterday I had one of the best shawarmas. Yeah, like I was telling my creative chef that it's been like a long time that I haven't had like a good shawarma, and he was after his like entire crew to just get a very very good shawarma out. So we do have it. We've expanded the menu a little too much, so we do have it.
I actually wanted to talk to you about how you manage your time, because I heard you were saying that the day of when you could just automate and delegate and let people do their thing, those days are over, and you have to be there, you have to lead by example. But that was in 2021 when you had one place.
Yeah.
Now you have 5, and you have a separate roastery business.
Yeah.
So in very practical and like step-by-step terms, can you explain to me how you are making your presence felt everywhere?
Sure. So basically the thing is that the team should know that one, if you don't do it, somebody will do it for sure. And that somebody could be me. So essentially, and it's not a fear that I want to instill, or I don't want to tell them that you're indispensable. It's not that. It's a basic essence of ownership of the entire thing that you're doing. So I always, whenever the new team comes in also, I've told the senior management to tell them that you gotta make mistakes, but the next week gotta be a new year mistake. But do make sure that you make a mistake. Make sure that you're learning. Make sure you're learning on the go, and that's how I have also learned. So that's the kind of translation that goes through from the team to the new team members. About how the presence is felt, I think, I understand that once you do a 100 store or a 200 store mark, you can't be behind the bar, you can't be brewing, you can't be with the kitchen team, you just have to keep doing the business and all that. But there are a lot of touch points, so I'll tell you this thing. So there are 21 touch points for a hospitality company with the guest.
Okay. Right. This is your own philosophy, or this is something that...
I mean, it is. So I had 18 in my philosophy, but 21 was the 3 points that got added, which is very relatable to the Taj or Oberoi's.
The standard is high.
The standard is super high, and those experiences they are giving, we are not able to give it. Like a swimming pool, for example, right? It will be a dream to have a swimming pool in a corridor.
Okay, so these touch points include like physical things like...
It's basically the touch points of, for example, I walked in, I said a hello, alright, I sat down, and then I looked at the menu, alright, those are the touch points. So those are those defined touch points, So each touch point basically enhances the experience of the guest. How practical is it with the rush that you saw yesterday is something to debate about, but when I believe in intangible stuff quite a bit, more than what meets the eye, it's what you've thought behind it. It's a thought that counts, and it translates. Maybe you will not exactly get what you're trying to portray, but you'll be like, yeah, hey, kuch to, that kind of a thing. However, so it's about when you've got 21 touch points with the guest, you got several touch points with your team, which basically makes them think and feel and know, rather, not just make them feel or think, but how they get to know that everybody's hands-on over here. And I think the trick over here is like whenever somebody says that are you the owner of Corridor 7, I kind of feel weird about it, because I'm an owner of a car, I'm an owner of a phone. I've started telling everybody that I'm a servant of Corridor 7, alright, the person who basically is, because I want to be the servant of Corridor 7 and grow this company with it. The moment you've got a kind of, I did use the word ownership mentality for the team members, but I want to replace that with a leadership mentality, and where somebody thinks that you are an owner, you become so complacent, you become so वो पुराना स्टाइल का हो जाता है यार. पुराना मेरे को पुराना नहीं बोलना है, बट अभी भी है बहुत सारे लोग ऐसे मैं ओनर हूँ सब करते हैं. You won't be able to do everything that you're supposed to do. Or for example, if somebody is having a attitude that I am the owner of XYZ, I am the person who did it, no smarter person will start working with you. You don't, because you won't be able to relate to that person. You'll be like, यार मैं तो owner हूँ, तू क्यों बता रहा है मेरे को? But the moment you're like, bro, I am wanting to grow this company with different people, that is the time when people will start coming in. So similarly, when you've got touch points with the guest, similar way you have to basically let the team know that there's no owner and or what do you say,
master servant
वाला वैसा नहीं है. हम लोग सब जन काम कर रहे हैं, so you have to literally show that across.
So it's a very socialist, very, like, without getting into the politics of it.
Yeah, thanks.
Because I know that liberal coffee roasters is is a big challenge. But two things that come to my mind immediately by everything that you just said. You talk about experience and that you're in the experience business a lot.
Yeah.
And you also say that you love intangibles.
Right.
Okay. Now, tell me practically, how do you measure these intangibles and how do you analyze the experience and rectify it, course correct it, and make it better?
Right. This is something which nobody has asked. I'm so happy about it. So in the F&B sector, right, there are people who say that, you are in a F&B sector, food and beverage. And that's a lot of people do say, I mean, I don't want to take names, of course, but that's incomplete. Because if I give you if I give you a beverage like this, here, cappuccino, your experience is gone. I give you the best food with the worst experience, you'll never enjoy it. I give you the average food, average coffee with great experience, you're sold. Because the effort is there and that effort is basically intangible. मैं आके आपको नहीं बोलूँगा यार मैं effort दे रहा हूँ आपको, right? It's an intangible. Example के तौर पे Birdie Cafe, the first cafe that we had, I was hell-bent on one thing, that I want the doors in the front, the grill doors, to be wide open, not even at an angle of 15 degree or 10 degree. I want it wide open. That is an intangible in a way, because I'll tell you one thing. So the story of that cafe is that it's in a space where nobody imagined. Alright? Neither did I, to be honest. You don't get parking over there. You don't get any sort of easy way to come there, and people are making effort to walk in, to struggle through summer ho, dhoop ho, barish ho, whatever it is. The guests are coming in through that, and my thought is the moment I see a door a little bit half open, alright, I'm like, maybe the guest will start thinking, that's one of the touch points by the way, 21, the intents and all those things. So the guest might start thinking about, yaar ye bande ki shuru hai yaar.
Well, it's already so much of a hassle to get out of the house and reach there, find parking and everything, and then the doors are shut.
And the doors are shut, right? Or even the thought that the doors might be shut. So this is an intangible. Right? Would this exactly translate into your own thing कि यार हमने जो बोला कि यार दरवाजा इसलिए खुला रखा है, या whatever it is, would it translate into that कि यार you come and you're like यार coffee तो छोड़, दरवाजा क्या खुला रखा हुआ है, मजा आ गया? No, it's not going to be like that. But it's a play of the psychological mind in a way. So you have to understand the guest, because I have also closely been a guest at a lot of places, right? And I don't like to use a word customer too much, because everybody is a guest at our place in a way. Customer is more transactional. Guest is at home. True. Even at places like, I would say I picked these things from my experiences, like whenever I had a good cup of coffee, when I traced back, I was like, yaar, I think I like that guy more. उसने जिस तरीके से बात की इसलिए coffee अच्छा लगा. That was the thing. So it was like kind of I haven't had a schooling in a hospitality sector or all those things, but it's kind of came quite naturally in a way. Plus intangible. Oh, great. Intangible actually. So you mentioned that I used to play badminton professionally, right? There's an art of deception in the sports. Right, so I was just telling this a day before to somebody that, and this is also, it is connected to intangible that you asked. In badminton, what used to happen was that let's say we are opponents, right? So you've got a team, I've got a team. We'll first play singles, then we'll play doubles. Then we'll play singles. ठीक है? तो होता क्या ना कि एक चिट मिलती है आपको, उसके ऊपर आपको लिखना है कि पहला सिंगल कौन खेल रहा है, डबल्स कौन खेल रहा है और सेकंड सिंगल्स कौन खेल रहा है. आप भी वही करोगे. मेरे को नहीं पता आपके साइड से कौन आ रहा है. You don't know who's coming from my side. You submit it to the chief referee. Now intangibly what we used to do was, imagine in your team you're the best player and here I'm the best player and I've got a weaker opponent. What I want to do is I want to waste your singles.
Right.
तो मेरे को आपके साथ नहीं खेलना है,
मुझे weaker opponent के साथ खेलना है.
तो आप तो जीत ही जाओगे. तो आप 1-0 मैंने एक सिंगल.
That's an easy win.
That's an easy win, right? So that's strategy in a way. And what we used to do is, when you are filling the tie sheet, we call it a tie sheet. The other guy wouldn't do the warm up, I'll start doing the warm up.
So you're like leading them up to...
Correct. So it's kind of like a deception, like a poker game, in a way. Right. So that's the intangibles that basically I keep talking about, that these things matter a lot. And whenever you're brewing a coffee, like hypothetically, if I'm brewing a coffee like this, versus I'm like, I know I'm on a stage. You
making a presentation
you will love that coffee.
Right.
It's kind of that. So that's what entire thing is.
Right. So these are the intangibles. We got that defined. Now,
how do you measure them?
Yeah. What is the qualitative analysis?
Got it.
And what do you do to then make them right?
Right. Intangibles are in your hand. Right? You can define, you can determine, you can strategize, you can execute. But जो आपको feedbacks वगैरह आएगा ना, they are gonna be like practical. And then basically it's my job to basically connect that to this. not hypothetically, but they are quite related. Maybe it's not very clear evident right now, but I'll give you an example. We'd done long back this thing. We started getting regulars and people started enjoying the coffee. We wanted to really see one thing, that are we really being appreciated for the work we are doing or for the product? So on purpose, for one day we replaced the regulars coffee, 20 people, unka coffee, with Robusta. Okay, which is a cheaper grade in a way and all those things. Now all that Robusta is good and all that is coming. I'm not on that bandwagon yet, but we did that and the guests liked the coffee, alright? And I'm like, bro, this is bad. So we of course told them later on that did you not find something off, and we waived off the bill and all that, so we are clear over there. But they like the coffee and we're like, dude, that's bad. Either we are educating less or it's only the brand which does not really suit my ethos. The product has to be... What we later on did was we basically switched it and gave the same coffee, good coffee, like good coffee in the sense, regular coffee, in non-printed paper cup or some other way of
packaging.
Some other packaging, I don't remember. They did not like it.
Okay.
So basically it was kind of a thing, these are the intangibles. Now they don't know why they didn't like it, but when you have the data that they did not like it, and when you have changed the intangible, something about it, or some, not an intangible, but whatever you strategize, whatever you have thought about, you have to do the 2+2. So tomorrow when somebody does not like the, let's say the hummus platter, it could be the, of course, qualitative issue of course over there. How do you quantify? Is like we have got those systems in place where with the review mechanism and all those things kind of do come in and trickle down in there.
Because you're a professional grader.
That's a professional coffee Q grader.
So I'm saying that you're a Q grader, so you know what it is to have a sheet in your hand and start grading things and a checklist and
Absolutely. So I'll be the most unorganized person in this world for sure. When you say checklist, you already lost me. When you say Excel, you already lost me. But there are systems, of course, in place who I am not able to do that, but there are people who help me out in that, and they do it. It's my team only. But yes, that makes a lot of sense that when Q grading में आपको ये सब करना पड़ता है, तो आपको idea आता है कि यार how you basically have to
evaluate something.
Right.
Because a large part of that qualification is describing.
Yeah, for sure.
You describe a lot.
For sure.
So I'll play that exercise with you.
Okay.
Without using the word focus, can you describe what deep focus is? When there are bombs exploding, and you're still like in it.
Yeah, when you do not know what's happening around, and when you're just I can use the word focus, right? So when you're just not when the bombs are around, when you can't hear them, or probably actually I'll go one step ahead. When you can hear them, when you can accept the entire things happening around you, and you still can think about your challenge, I think that is what focus means. It does not mean that आपको आवाज नहीं आनी चाहिए and क्या हो रहा है.
But you're in a parallel world. That's not how it is.
Yeah, that's not how it is.
You're fully grounded, except your mind is just razor focused on one thing.
Correct.
So how do you enter that deep focus?
I think for me it was my answer is always passion. Would I have done this for any other beverage? Probably no. Or any other product? Probably no. Badminton maybe yes. But for me the answer has been passion. Passion बोलो यार कि connection बोलो आप जो भी बोलना है उसको. वही में अगर और कोई चीज़ में उसमें ज़्यादा पैसा भी बहुत रहता या और कुछ भी रहता तो maybe I wouldn't have had. So that comes quite naturally in a way for me that this is important, but also the realization of one thing that, so I keep giving this example to the team quite a bit, that, and I'll connect it with the thing that you said that you're successful wala, so I'm not at all yet. So the moment you realize that your company can literally go down the next day, the next day, like General Motors shut, nobody cares, right? Nokia shuts, nobody cares. So you have to be, I'm not saying you have to be pensive about it or tensed about it, but you have to be grounded about that. Because if you get shut, nobody will bother, they'll go to some other place. So make sure that you keep growing, make sure you keep giving it out, and make sure you keep doing it. That basically is kind of the focus.
Okay, so as I understand that you're saying that deep focus is passion driven, it is also a necessity.
For me.
It's also a necessity. It's also a necessity because you are in survival mode.
Yeah.
Is that true even today? Are you in survival
Absolutely.
mode?
Every day in the morning,
Okay, so maybe when you started, or maybe when the pandemic hit,
Yeah.
you were in survival mode. I understand that. But now I find that being in the survival mode is not maybe a real thing. It is more a state of mind that you constantly have.
Okay, can put it that way. Can put it that way in a way.
Because you're thriving. Your
Maybe.
company is thriving.
Maybe. I mean, I don't want to put those adjectives at all because there are much larger companies who are doing much bigger things.
Okay, so you're comparing.
I am.
Are you always comparing?
Well, inspiring. I am inspired by what... Because see, I keep telling my wife also, like, yeah, okay, fine, people know me right now, okay, whatever. But tomorrow if Rohit Sharma walks in somewhere and I walk in, कौन किसको मिलेंगे लोग? मेरे को मिलेंगे, उसको मिलेंगे. ठीक है? मेरा ये कहना है, मेरा ये मानना है, comparison बोलो या जो जैसा बोलो, कि मेरा what I believe is कि a human has achieved that much, so that is a space that you can also achieve. He's also human, right? So you can also achieve that much. So when you do that, then you think about something, right? अभी के level पे, if you talk about all these things, it just gets to your head, and I've been brought up like that. That you cannot really feel.
Yeah, don't ride a high horse.
Yeah, exactly. And horse's mouth is also the nice plug-in. Huh?
So that's great. And so 27/07/17 or 06/04/88, which is the more special date to you?
So I'll rephrase the answer. For me, it is 27/07/17. For my mom, it is 06/04/88. Because she clearly...
in the family, it's 88.
She clearly remembers that day, not me.
So do you have like an anniversary that happens on that day?
We're planning to this year.
Oh.
Yeah, a little bit. I'll tell you a coincidence actually. 27th September was a date where we basically started the company. And coincidentally, 2022 on the same date, I was on the stage representing India at the World Coffee Championship.
Wow.
And अभी वो word बड़ा misused, overused, abused, सब कुछ हो गया वो manifestation वाला मैं कभी use ही नहीं करता इसलिए मैं I remember you use it right now. But I think again it comes back from the sports thing that you basically visualize. So whenever you used to play a tournament or an important match, मैं वो match CCD में बैठ के जीत चुका था. Because I had visualized that, you know. So I think that was a visualization also that on this day, on some year, I want to be at this stage, and it really happened. So yeah, that was something very, very.
So cool. Speaking of visualization, what is the significance of the whiteboard, and what does it do for you?
And this guy is like a घुस गया है. सब कुछ पता है यार. अभी मैं थोड़ा डर रहा हूँ मैं. I shouldn't have brought my phone. मैं सब सोच रहा हूँ अभी क्या करें. Wow, that's nice, man. So whiteboard, right?
Yeah.
Whiteboard is basically if I can't visualize, a team should. Or if I've already visualized, the team should keep visualizing it even more. One is that. Second, whiteboard जो है ना, it helped me for the first time back in 2015. It feels like donkey years, man. Like 15 and now अभी क्या है?
9 years.
Wow, so 9 years is a long time. So the 14 end में actually मैं बता रहा हूँ क्या हुआ. I think you're asking about that only, whiteboard session.
I'm talking about what is whiteboard. What does it do for you? Because I know it's deeply personal for you.
Yeah.
But today, if you could like share maybe like a bit of what it does for you, how do you use it, and how is it part of your productivity cycle?
यार it's so क्या बोलते हैं, so close to me कि मेरे को अब मैं भूल चुका हूँ उसके बिना रह कैसे सकते हैं.
Right.
So I can't really, I'll try to put it in words like how significant it is, you know, because sometimes if you're asking about the trousers, how important it is, तुम रोज पहन रहे हो, you know, it's kind of that, it's kind of like
an essential.
It's an essential.
So you know, in therapy, a lot of people are advised to start journaling.
Yeah.
Is it like that where you're just like letting out your like deeply personal thoughts, or is it in some way there is a structure to it?
There's no structure to it. भाई मेरे साथ तुम structure करके बात ही मत करो. That's my wife. Structure, Excel sheet, checklist.
So maybe without sharing the deeply personal whatever, but
no, I'm not able to think. It's that close कि मैं सोच ही नहीं सक रहा हूँ. But I'll try to do this. I'll try.
Like if you were to advise me,
yes, exactly.
Like I should have a whiteboard.
I'm thinking on that point only.
What does it mean?
So whiteboard, you know what happens is like in the entire moment of business and everything, you're thinking so many things. You're thinking literally so many things, you know. कि you kind of would always, you can't, I mean, in the notebook if you see you have to carry it, you have to do it. Of course whiteboard भी आप carry नहीं कर सकते, but when it's there out there large picture में ना, you are focusing on that, alright. So sometimes you don't want to I mean, you want to write it down, but you don't want others to basically know. So over a period of time, I basically have my own language also, which only I understand, and I only can. So I can write it down easily. तो कोई पढ़े तो मेरे को फर्क नहीं पड़ता है. उनको नहीं समझेगा क्या है. So what whiteboard does to you is when you are basically putting that marker and when you're writing it down, I think it makes you think so deeply that you are just it's just embedded in your head that you have to do this, and it's not about the to-do list always. It's about brainstorming. It's about again visualization. It's about bookmarking. It's about all these things put together.
So when you're visualizing on a whiteboard, are you drawing it or are you writing it down?
Both, everything. Anything, absolutely anything.
Because you're a very good writer, by the way. Like,
am I?
Yeah. I read a couple of things. You have a knack for deeply describing your emotions, what that felt. And
my wife doesn't think about that. Like, not being sexist.
maybe
genuinely.
she needs to visit your LinkedIn more often. But but you've been doing that. Like, so is that what the process is? That okay? Also, do you start with an empty slate? Like, is the whiteboard completely wiped off and then you start fresh?
No, it is emptied only when I think like the targets are achieved.
Done.
That they are done.
So, would there be like some things written on it which have been written there for maybe months?
Yeah.
So they have like a separate column.
As I said, I am the most unorganized person, to be very honest.
So what you're describing more to me is like a vision board, like a lot of people use
for
that.
For sure a vision board. But if you see it, look at my vision board, it's all, but I can point out exactly where what it is, you know, so it's, I cannot,
to you it makes sense.
absolute sense.
Are you proud of that? That you have
Yeah.
your own language?
I mean,
like even
अरे
if
वो
somebody-
प्राउड भी नहीं है यार, वो तो नेसेसिटी है, क्योंकि मैं वो नोटबुक में लिखता हूँ, फिर नोटबुक घुमा देता हूँ, फिर पेन घूम जाता है, फिर कभी ये नहीं मिलता है, कभी वो नहीं मिलता है, then all these things. So it's better कि you write it down over there itself. And then I was like, यार, how do I, so this is like back in 18-19 again, if I'm writing it down, I don't want a lot of people to know, because that time the cafe that was there earlier, there was a transparent roastery, right? So I used to write it on this, like on the
glass,
and the guests were sitting outside itself.
Right.
So they could see, they used to read, and I'm like, यार ये तो गड़बड़ हो गया यार, ये तो मैं, because उसमें क्या कह सकते हैं, बैंक नंबर, पिन कोड, पिन कोड नहीं, क्या होता है, ATM कोड, सब था उसपे, सब कुछ रहता था. And I mean, I don't know, I just like writing it down. Also, I think, let me trace back. Beautiful question, man. So the reason the whiteboard was very important, now I get it, is because again, when we used to play, right? So we used to discuss entire strategy on a piece of paper, right? Like, we used to just hypothetically draw a court, and we are like, यहाँ से ऐसा होगा, he'll hit you over there on the backhand, and then you basically put it over here, then you half smash, and all those things. So that is where we used to win it. So I think that just has become a amplified kind of a version.
More consistent way to do that, not just at the tournament, but you're doing it in every day, in all walks of life.
Everywhere that I visit thoda sa often, I think I need that whiteboard. I can't function without it. It's also easy to explain it to the person in front, you know.
So now that we are speaking of your vision, I wanted to understand that I wrote this down actually, self versus the company. You are to Corridor 7 what like Elon is to Tesla or to...
The bank balance does not accept, but sure.
But when you are doing this, are you in some way concerned that you are going to, when you are not around?
After I die?
No. Maybe when you fall, like when you have chikungunya and you have like ankle pain also. So when you are not around, your personality is so intertwined with that of C7 or anything that you do.
Yeah.
Are you afraid that maybe those values will not be upheld? Also, in your mind, is there a distinction between Corridor 7 and who you are?
So I'll answer the second question first. Whenever I have a meeting with anybody, absolutely anybody, I always tell them, and I mean again, intangible thing, I always keep a chair in the room. Bro, you're getting too secret, man, like you're bloody...
I'm sorry.
सब कुछ पूछेगा अभी, फिर क्या है, मैं कुछ बचा ही नहीं अभी, नए I'll have to do some new strategies on that.
So the reason I'm asking these questions is because this is what I'm actually curious about, if nothing else.
Yeah.
And I think you've spoken enough about coffee. I mean, not enough, but enough for me to not ask you those questions.
Okay, ठीक है. तो मैं थोड़ा फिर इसको filter करूँगा ऐसा. नहीं ठीक है. So I'll tell you one thing, like this is my very close team and senior team kind of knows that whenever there is a meeting somewhere happening, there'll be an open chair, just रखा हुआ extra chair रहेगा, and मेरे दिमाग में वो visualization है कि corridor 7 उधर बैठा है, मैं नहीं हूँ corridor 7. I'm not that at all. ठीक है, as I said earlier that I want to be the best servant for corridor 7
to the chairman sitting there.
Yeah, absolutely. So hypothetical, whatever it is, right? So again, I told you the reason earlier, right? Tomorrow, if somebody from, if I've got that ego, कि I am the owner, and I am the brand, blah blah blah. So tomorrow, if some good opportunity is coming along, who can grow this company even faster than me, why not? I would not take it if I was. Yeah, if I've got that mentality. Right? If I've got a mentality.
But isn't it like your child? Is it that easy for you to just give it away?
So
do you really believe that?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, child has to have his own life or her own life after a point of time.
So you're saying that when it grows out and it's time for it
हाँ,
to like...
यानी मेरे बहुत सारे tick marks या क्या बोलते हैं उसको checklist था जो मैं complete किया है corridor के साथ. But now I definitely want it to grow, and I genuinely believe where you are not good at, there will be somebody who is amazing at it. The moment you close door and say कि no, I am the owner. मैंने बोल दिया तो बोल दिया तो बोलेगा भाई ठीक फाइन बाय थैंक यू सो मच you know. So there are amazing people around who are now getting in touch, who basically wanting to work together and work for the company, with the company. So I would have probably said a no, you know, if I had that mentality. That thing that I was speaking about earlier, that what you said, like if I have chikungunya and my...
You're not around.
If I'm not around. See, you have to start adding some discounting factor in life. If you are a perfectionist, by the way, ये perfectionist कोई नहीं रहता है, ठीक है. ये बहुत ज़्यादा ग्लैमराइज हो चुका है थैंक्स टू द मेन स्ट्रीम स्टफ. इट्स ग्लैमराइज टू सच एन एक्सटेंट दैट जो नहीं रहते हैं वो भी बोलते हैं यार कूल लग रहा है मेरे को, मैं भी करता हूँ, मैं भी परफेक्शनिस्ट बनूंगा ना. यू शुड बी गिविंग इट आउट ऑल फाइन, बट एज यू ग्रो, एज यू कीप ग्रोइंग, एट सम डिस्काउंटिंग फैक्टर or else you'll stop your growth, is what my belief system is, right? जैसे I will never say that we are giving 100 में से 100 coffees 100 out of 100. No, I will never say that. Neither am I telling team members to be like so pensive and so stressed कि नहीं यही चाहिए. You've seen the rush. Practically आप कितना भी SOP लगाओ, कितनी भी मशीन लगाओ, कितने भी लोग लगाओ, 19-20 होना ही है. वो 19 का मैं बोल रहा हूँ, आप 18.9 पे ला लो एक बार, 18.8 पे ला लो, एडजस्ट करो एंड इम्प्रूव करो, right? That is what I am basically saying. So, can you get back to the question?
Actually, I don't.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah. But that's great. That's what I wanted.
Okay, cool. So, that chair in the room basically kind of says that. So you would ask like how
the separation between you and the brand.
Correct. So, मैं तो in fact team को बोलता हूँ कि यार forget that I am the founder or whatever it is. एक बंदा है अपने टीम में जिसके credentials ये है, 2 बार championship, 3 बार ये जो भी है credential, यार आप यूटिलाइज करो उसको, मिस यूज कर दो पूरा, यू नो व्हाट यू कॉल दैट, निचोड़ दो. दैट इज हाउ द मेंटालिटी शुड बी टुवर्ड्स ग्रोथ, बिकॉज इफ गेस्ट्स आर रिस्पॉन्डिंग टू दैट, दे वांट टू सी दैट इवन मोर, दे वांट टू अंडरस्टैंड व्हाट इट इज, राइट? सो व्हाई नॉट पुश इट इवन फर्दर, push that narrative even further. I'll be a part of it. I'm there, and I'm not stopping at 2. I'll give you 1 more. I'll give you even more. I'll give you even more, right? So
you'll feed that dragon.
Yeah. So it could be anybody in the company. It could be absolutely anybody in the company. It's about जो चीज़ से लोगों का trust है and belief है. You have to nurture that.
Of course.
Hardcore. Absolutely. That is the prime and the only thing that the function, like I was hearing a podcast of a friend of mine, and उसमें he said a very beautiful thing that the prime stuff for senior management after a point of time should be how to nurture the founder, how to make time for the founder, that so that he can start thinking. So that's something which is very very critical. Now coming to the point that if I am not around तो कैसा, मैं बता दूँ, long back I was very sure about this thing कि मेरे को कॉल करके नहीं चाहिए, बिकॉज होम टाउन है, फ्रेंड्स है, लॉट ऑफ पीपल नो यू एंड ऑल पहले से. तो आई डेंट वॉन्ट एवर कि दे कॉल मी एंड से कि तू स्टोर पे है क्या, एंड आई बी लाइक क्या, एंड लाइक ठीक है मैं आ रहा हूँ. एंड अगर आंसर नहीं रहता तो बोलते यार नहीं यार, आई डोंट हैव कॉफी फ्रॉम एनीबडी एल्स. सो आई वाज वेरी वेरी क्लियर अबाउट दैट, बॉस. आई डोंट वांट इट टू बी सेल्फ डिपेंडेंट, या कि मैं रहूँगा तो ही पीपल स्टार्ट ड्रिंकिंग. So I started giving more confidence to the team who was earlier there, like in front of me also. Even now it happens that if I'm behind the bar, the guests, they want coffee from me, and I would love to do it, but I have to be somewhere. At the same time, my team member is listening, so he would be like, यार मेरे सामने आप बोल रहे हो कि sir बनाएंगे coffee, you know, that way. So I always, since that time, I tell them, you know what, these guys are more in practice. They'll make better coffee than me. Try it out. If you don't like it, I'll make it. You know. So you have to remove yourself from the operation bit or the
So you're working like a platform for these people to like also have their presence felt.
Could say, yeah, could say. Could say that.
So now that you are in this zone where you are the founder, you're thinking about your job, your predominant job now is to think and to expand, maybe vertically or horizontally.
Yeah.
Are you enjoying that, or do you miss being the mad scientist and the working with the chemistry and being behind the bar and stuff like that?
I miss it sometimes, yeah, for sure. So whenever I'm behind the bar, I keep telling the guests who I interact with that today is my off day. So
Today I'm not thinking.
Today I'm not thinking. I just want to brew the coffee, and unfortunately that doesn't last long. Like 1 ghanta, and then it's like, oh, hold on, this is a good idea. Let's do this.
And I find that other thing about you also, that you catch a lot of thoughts and you are like semi-directing the entire thing. Like I saw a couple of your interviews and you were like, this is a great idea, we should do this. And then that was like just an aside to somebody.
Is it?
Do you always like, in your brain, now this is something that I really wanted to ask you. You're running a roastery, right? And that is like, I buy something, I process something, and I sell something. Right. There are some numbers, there's some purchase, there's some selling, and there's no experience, so to speak, within that business model. There's more of a right brain thing. And then you step into the cafe right outside, and there's all this experience and platform for creativity, and that's completely like left brain thing, that your mind is buzzing and you're thinking that are the eyes on the guests. Are the experiences being met?
How do you use that line?
Yeah, I mean, so we'll get there. So there are eyes on the guests and a lot of other things. So
I feel like I want to have a blanket. I feel like completely naked right now.
I'll get you some clothes. My bedroom is right here. So
wow, spy man, spy.
So between the left brain and the right brain activity.
Yeah.
Are you like a chaotic mess in your brain? Or have you found like some semblance of like structure within it?
आ रहा है धीरे धीरे वो थोड़ा सा bifurcation and structure.
You're letting go.
पता नहीं यार अभी वो adjective मेरे को अभी तक. So I'm very late with terminologies of what you're doing. Like I recently got to know क्या बोलते हैं उसको, imposter syndrome में भी एक कुछ तो भी रहता है.
Yeah, you have imposter syndrome.
Yeah, I know. Man, I'm scared.
You know why?
Officially, I'm scared now.
You know why? I'll tell you why. Because Akanksha called you for this interview and you said, like, I'm not quoting you, but you said something to the effect of that, but like, am I like, why would you interview me? Who am I? And I was like, is this guy serious? Like, does he go on a Wednesday afternoon to his Yeah.
Chalo, okay, I'll get that later. But
so the chaotic brain.
Yeah, so I'm bad with the adjectives or the terminologies of it. And just say, abhi right now, this, I don't know if you know this, and if you know this, then I'm really scared right now.
Okay.
So we are basically speaking to a lot of new people who are basically raising funds.
Okay.
Knew it or not?
No, I didn't know. I know that you're collaborating with a beer brand, but I didn't know that.
Okay. I'm just glad. Glad.
I'm not an actual sleuth. Like I'm not.
No, but I'm saying it in a very nice way. Jokes apart, I'm saying it in a very nice way. The jokes will come back, but saying it in a very nice way that you've done a fantastic research.
Thank you.
Great. Borderline spy. So
I'm like an obsessed ex-partner, just like
ये क्यों बोला था? क्या बोला?
Yeah.
When Akanksha is on the call, ऐसे पीछे क्या बोला? So क्या बात कर रहे हैं आप?
Your chaotic brain and you're raising funds and
so उसमें terminologies का मैं बात कर रहा था, तो उसमें वो going back to the finances and EBITDA and all those things, तो उसमें बहुत सारे नई terminologies आ गए. And I'm like यार आप क्या पूछ रहे हो, मेरे को simple language में बताओ, मैं आपको explain कर दूँगा. फिर उसको वो coin करते हैं, what I'm like अच्छा हाँ ठीक है, okay.
ये वो है
वो ठीक है, समझ गया ना आपको, done, ऐसा वाला है. तो इसलिए मैं वो adjective लगा नहीं सकता हूँ, मैं ये बोल रहा था. But off late I think I've realized that I have started kind of bifurcating that, like if I'm going A to B and then all of a sudden something happens and I'm like, okay, hold on, let's go to this thing, ये करते फिर आ जाते, that I'm kind of delineating and cutting it out. But I think that's fun, man. That's fun, like when there are so many things right now happening also, so many I mean you've got a great you've been put in a position partly because of your work, partly because of a lot of other people, partly mostly because of other people's work, you put in a position where आपके पास ये अपॉर्चुनिटी है ड्रीम करने का. ड्रीम तो कर ही सकते हो, बने नहीं बने बात की बात है, आप ड्रीम तो कर ही सक रहे हो अभी. टू ड्रीम दैट यूल बी द बिगेस्ट कॉफी कंपनी इन द कंट्री. कॉम्पिटिशन रहेगा, आएंगे जाएंगे नहीं रहेगा, बड़े तुमको क्या करने है. सो व्हेन यू बीन पुट इन दैट सिचुएशन एंड पोजिशन, आई थिंक इट्स अ गुड थिंग, इट्स अ वेरी वेरी गुड थिंग. एंड if you take it as your role, you'll never be able to do it. You know, you have to take it like, I enjoy this, I want to do it. So it's a very natural thing. Abhi, what you said about the left brain, right brain, I haven't read that much, to be very honest. All right. So fine, I'll take your word on that. Ki left brain basically.
No, it may not be like true, but you know that's the general consensus is that you know like left brain is the creative and right brain is the analytical.
Right.
So just based on that assumption.
Yeah.
Is there like a clash like you're like मुझे रोस्ट्री का भी सोचना है, मुझे कैफे में एक्सपीरियंस भी एस्टैब्लिश करना है, यार कस्टमर कंप्लेंट आ गया है, वहाँ पे वो माल नहीं आया है,
होता है,
हार्वेस्ट सीजन में बारिश हो गई, सो
होता है
नहीं आया. So when this chaos is happening, how do you make sense of it? Is that when the whiteboard comes in?
Whiteboard does come in over there at times, but I think like पता नहीं यार, it's very natural to me, मेरे को ऐसा लगता है, पर वो affect होता है. ठीक है, आपको बस ये याद रखना है कि आपकी लार्जर पिक्चर और लार्जर जो फ्रेमवर्क है वो कभी डिस्टर्ब नहीं होना चाहिए, कभी भी डिस्टर्ब नहीं होना चाहिए. इट शुड ओनली, द फ्रेम शुड ओनली गेट बिगर एंड बिगर. यू नो, यू शुड आउटग्रो दैट फ्रेम इन योर हेड एवरी डे, तब जाके आपका डे टू डे थोड़ा सॉर्ट होने लग जाएगा. क्लैशेस होते हैं डेफिनेटली इसमें, दैट व्हेन यू आर थिंकिंग अबाउट एज आई सेड A to B and then you go to C. But if you now, I mean very recently again, if you realize that if you're going into the micro stuff of it, you're gone. You are gone. The most important asset of the company is the thought. ठीक है?
The concept?
Thought. No, not the concept. Concept is specialty coffee. The thought is the it could be the day-to-day thought. It could be the weekly or the yearly. कुछ भी हो सकता है. But the thought, right? What is the thought behind this event that you're doing? What is the thought behind this food? So the most important thing is thought. तो आपको उसको focus करना पड़ेगा. And you cannot be really micromanaging, man. Like
coming back to the perfectionist point.
Correct. You cannot be micromanaging. You have to trust the team that they will do good mistakes, better mistakes, but they'll recover.
So team building, coming to the team point, team building is your, I think, primary asset.
Yeah.
You love team building.
Yeah.
What I thought was very interesting was that, as me personally, I hate team building because I find that is the one thing that is like immeasurable, unexpected. It is, you cannot quantify it. There's always that 80-20 ki, you know, you hire 100 people and you know only 20 people are working to the max potential.
True.
So I know your badminton background is why that it kind of informs your team building, but I wanted to understand how much of a role is loyalty playing in that team building. And you know, obviously I want to round it back to faith in humanity, but like,
yeah.
So what is team building to you, and how can I excel at team building? Who I am personally bad at team building.
यार फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल ना, हम लोग जो टीम बिल्डिंग करते हैं वी हैव टू फॉरगेट कि बहुत डिफिकल्ट है वो, बहुत डिफिकल्ट है, क्योंकि कोई लिख के नहीं देगा कि आपके पास 2 साल रहेंगे, 3 साल रहेंगे, 4 साल रहेंगे, या 1 महीना, 1 हफ्ता, 1 दिन. आई टेल यू, 2018 का मैं बताता हूँ वापस, गोइंग सर्कलिंग बैक, देयर वाज वन गाय हु वाज हाउंडिंग मी फॉर अ लॉन्ग टाइम. आई वांट टू वर्क. एंड 18 या 19 होगा, कुछ तो होगा, पता नहीं, तब तो रश भी नहीं था बहुत ज़्यादा. इट वाज लाइक एवरेज, बट द काइंड ऑफ फोकस वी हैड की attention, like keep the touch points I was talking about. So I'm like, I called him up and he's like, yeah, I work at this XYZ and I've got this experience. And I'm like, well, ठीक है, very good. Went ahead with some, we hired him, and वो बंदा 2 बजे he must have joined. 6 बजे 2018 या 19 में वो बोला वॉशरूम ब्रेक के लिए जा रहा हूँ मैं, वो अभी भी वॉशरूम ब्रेक पे ही है. तो we don't know where he is, right? We just went from there because it was very overwhelming for him. So that's what I'm saying. Like, see, when you're building a team, na, first of all, remember your bigger picture and the team are 2 different things. They are connected. You are the connector, right? You are the connector for them. मगर अगर आपने पूरे ऐसा सोच लिया कि you know this team will do it everything and then we'll execute, doesn't work like that. You know, like you have to basically use multiple strategies, multiple ways of learning of how to delegate it to the team. And
can you tell me one strategy of how you use knowledge transfer? Sure.
Like if I want to talk about the roasting thing, I think one of the things that we do is that for the first 3 months, coffee cupping, you must be whoever. Like right now, somebody who's packaging and labeling and shipping, who had no idea of English whatsoever, and who was my dog's walker.
Okay.
He's working with us. So first 3 months, 100 days, however, you have to taste the coffee. That is one of the ways, so that you get kind of focused on the product. You kind of get better. Your targets are there. कि यार कल मेरे को better coffee taste करना है. I want to describe.
Is it akin to like peeling onions at a restaurant? Like how people join and they're supposed to like do that, or is it something a little more brain?
Little bit more brain. Onion वाला तो नहीं है scene कि you have to go through the grind wala scene.
So you're not trying to like...
No, I mean that's
just like cruel maybe. But you're not trying to put them through a grind, you're trying to...
ये मत बोलो यार, वो बच्चे नहीं करेंगे, अपना प्याज नहीं मिलेगा होटल में.
नहीं please, सब चीले. So no, so...
सब चीले, टेस्ट को भी बोलो.
So okay, so it's not exactly that, but it is more to do with like using your senses in its complete...
Sometimes you have to understand that that person has never gotten a person to tell कि you can do it. ठीक है? बस उतना भी लगता है काफ़ी बार. ठीक है. अच्छा, बाय द वे, इट्स नॉट ऑलवेज सो ईजी. देयर विल बी very weird cases happening also, but it should not shake your belief system. Your bigger picture has to be there and you have to be like, yeah, team building, I put my effort, अभी वो उसका problem है. So I genuinely believe in building a system around it. जैसे ये वाला एक चीज़ है, ऐसे बहुत सारे, and the system should kind of tell that this is how it is to be done and all that, and then whoever comes in, whoever plugs in, they kind of get part of the system only to get better and grow. That is a mindset that matters, and that is the mentality that matters actually. So tomorrow when we reach higher numbers and a bigger like more number of stores or more challenges that we take up with, ultimately it's these things that will make other team members join and know ki, oh, this is how it happens over here. Right? It could be anybody. And one thing actually I'll share is I always tell my team or senior team that I want you to start building a team. So by the time I am also building a team for you, maybe I want you also to understand what it takes in a way. So
attitude is more important than
absolutely attitude is more important.
And no restriction on time
of
working hours.
You can come, you don't want to come.
But you want them to like, be there early, leave late.
No. I hate it. Like there have been bans imposed on my senior team ki boss tu 2 दिन nahi aayega.
Okay.
I don't want to see your face at all because they are burned down.
This also goes for wages also.
As in
you pay at par, if not more than
we are paying actually more than what Bangalore cafes do. The reason being, Nagpur is a city where people don't want to come over here, and people who are working over here want to go outside.
Outside, definitely.
So the one way of holding them
back
is this. So if McDonald's is, for example, paying like 16,000, for example, and we are doing 18,000, they'll still go to McDonald's. Because of the brand, because of the bigger city. हाथ में कुछ नहीं आएगा. But by the time they realize, we are already then moving to other cafes, other stores, other places. Right. So that is one of the challenges, one of the very big challenges that we face in the city. A very, very big challenge.
How do you react to this very quick turnaround, like this, people coming and going?
So it's the training that you've done.
Because you've spent so much time, 3 months of cupping. You've trained this person.
Yeah.
And now they've gone.
That's okay. You have to reach a stage you're like, okay, fine. All the best. If you've got a contract and if you're messing around, that's a different thing. The legal team is there to take care. I trust them absolutely. But if you want to go, and that's okay.
What is missing from the Barista Institutes of today?
Practical experience. The real practical experiences of this is how it is.
So internships play a big role there.
Absolutely. जब आपको वो कॉरिडोर पे ऐसा रूल है, मैंने लगाया हुआ है कि बार के पीछे the KST is a cleaning team basically. वो नहीं आएंगे. The barista has to wipe, mop, sweep, whatever it is. क्योंकि that's your place of work. That's what you do. And वो छोड़ो, barista में इसलिए आना चाहिए क्योंकि kitchen team वैसे ही करता है वो. If you go to the kitchens, they've been running for a long time. Barista वगैरह तो अभी आया हुआ है. तो वो पहले से ऐसा कर रहे हैं, आप उनसे सीखो ना. वो मॉप मार रहे, कचरा साफ करे, वो क्या रुके रहेंगे किसी के लिए ना?
So dignity of labor is a big thing at corridors.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Like since beginning, I always wanted like यहाँ पे ऐसा ना कि एक coffee. All that sounds and all those things. So if you see, again, this is like the connection of system and intangible thing. You will rarely find now anybody at corridor falling like this or doing those
People
sounds.
apologize.
Yeah. You've seen that, is it?
No, I know.
Okay. So they don't call the brewers like that, you know. And I mean, look at this. I mean, there are a few inspiration in my team, man. Like there were 2 girls who had come from Gadchiroli. Gadchiroli, for the audience.
Guests?
No. Who wanted to work at Corridor.
Okay.
So they had come from that place, and Gadchiroli is a very small place.
District, हाँ.
English तो भूल ही जाओ, आप भूल जाओ. तो मैं हमेशा टीम को एक चीज़ बोलता हूँ कि यार ये याद रखो, आप इंग्लिश में समझाओ, हिंदी में समझाओ, मराठी में समझाओ, या तमिल तेलुगु जो लैंग्वेज में समझाओ. गलत इन्फॉर्मेशन नहीं जाना चाहिए और झूठ नहीं बोलना चाहिए.
You should know the menu.
फॉर श्योर, मेन्यू, फूड, जो भी. और अगर आपको नहीं पता, आप गेस्ट को बोलो, आई एम रियली सॉरी, मेरे को नहीं पता, मैं
I'll get back to you.
जेन्युइनली बोलो, ठीक है. बट अगर कोई गेस्ट ने बोला कि यार यू एक्सप्लेन इट इन इंग्लिश ओनली, तो मैं सीरियसली बोलता दैट इज नॉट आवर गेस्ट. ऑफ कोर्स अगर वो अमेरिकन और ऑस्ट्रेलियन होगा तो यार बात अलग है, यार ये क्या बात होती है, दैट्स अ डिफरेंट स्टोरी ऑलटुगेदर. मगर उसको अगर समझती है हिंदी अदर लैंग्वेज और वो बोलता है नहीं यू हाउ आर यू टॉकिंग इन इंग्लिश व्हेन यू आर, ऐसा हो चुका है 1-2 बार. तब आई हैव टोल्ड देम क्लियरली दैट दे आर नॉट आवर गेस्ट. यू कैन पोलाइटली टेल देम यू नो वी आर नॉट एबल टू केटर यू, या जैसे भी आपको बोलना है. एंड कुछ हुआ तो मैं हूँ, ठीक है, मैं हूँ, सीनियर टीम में बात कर लेंगे. तो वो जो 2 लड़कियाँ आए थे ना यार, बिलीव मी, मैं उनको, मैंने नहीं बट टीम ने जब पूछा कि आपको क्या क्या आता है वगैरह, तो सिर्फ घर पे खाना बनाना है ऐसा वगैरह ये सब था. एंड उन्होंने ये पूछा, सर इंग्लिश को भी उन्होंने अलग से प्रोनाउंस किया था, ठीक है, इंग्लिश, हाँ इंग्लिश ऐसा कुछ भी प्रोनाउंस. सो दे वर एट दैट लेवल, ऑलराइट. सो आई गॉट द रिपोर्ट कि ऐसा है ऐसा ऐसा है, बट they were standing outside and they were like standing straight and they were very serious about the job. तो मैंने बोला यार काम करो, let's see, ट्रेनिंग में टाइम जाएगा, कोई बात नहीं, देखते. आई एम टेलिंग यू फ्रॉम देयर, जहाँ पे उनको इंग्लिश बोलते थे, cappuccino and all those things they used to say, after 2.5, I get goosebumps, man. After 2.5 months or 3 months they reached a stage where I used to just call at the store if I'm not in the town एंड आस्क कि फ्लोर पे कौन कौन है. तो वो 2 लड़कियों का नाम मैं हैंग अप करता था, ठीक है डन, दे विल मैनेज इट. सो इट इज़ नथिंग टू डू विद योर क्वालिफिकेशन, इट इज़ नथिंग टू डू विद योर, आई मीन इट्स द एटीट्यूड दैट मैटर्स, एब्सोल्यूट एटीट्यूड. लाइक वो बोलते हैं बहुत क्लीशे है कि यार जो बंदे आपके पास प्रॉब्लम लेके आते हैं ना, तो आपको समझ जाना चाहिए कि क्या सीन है. मगर वो आते हैं कि यार ये प्रॉब्लम हुआ था, ये चैलेंज मैंने किया है, गलती हुई है, क्या करूँ, वो भी ठीक है. इनिशिएटिव इज देयर. अगर कंप्लेनिंग एटीट्यूड है तो छोड़ दो यार, वो शायद आप समझा पाओगे बट शायद वो नहीं समझेंगे. सो दैट्स हाउ आई टेक इट.
You keep harping on having an open mind, how that's part of learning. My question is, does an open mind have to be accompanied with a thick skin?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm growing that thick skin right now.
Are you good at taking actual feedback? Like, do you like?
Yeah.
Do you take feedback and then are you like?
Absolutely. नहीं. Absolutely not. Like, of course. अभी ऐसा एक फीडबैक बहुत पहले मिला था कि चीज़ केक दैट वी वर डूइंग, दैट पर्सन हैड द चीज़ केक एंड सेड दैट द चीज़ केक इज़ नॉट हाउ इट्स सपोज टू बी, दीज आर द वर्ड्स. एंड आई वाज राइट देयर एंड आई एम लाइक ओके, सो टेल मी, बिकॉज आई वांट टू लर्न, आई वांट टू नो व्हाट इज़ द बेटर वे टू डू इट, बिकॉज मेरे लिए भी नया है, सो टेल मी व्हाट इट इज़. तो शी लाइक नो आई हैवंट एवर हैड अ चीज़ केक. मतलब ये फीडबैक है, इसका क्या करूँ मैं, ठीक है. तो ये फीडबैक नहीं है, ये है कुछ तो, ठीक है. बट जब फीडबैक आता है ना, कोई भी फीडबैक हो, तो सर्कलिंग बैक टू द फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन दैट यू हैड आस्क्ड अबाउट, और फर्स्ट 2 क्वेश्चन, जब भी कोई भी फीडबैक आता है ना, कोई भी फीडबैक, इट इज कनेक्टेड टू समथिंग और द अदर. इट इज़ अ इंटेंजिबल मेजरली, और ऑफकोर्स अगर कुछ वो तो फीडबैक नहीं हो तो हो गया नहीं, वो खत्म ही हो जाएगा. अगर कुछ टेंजिबल होगा, लेट्स से अंडर कुक्ड होगा या तो फिर कॉफी हो, तो खत्म हो गया तो, ठीक है. मगर जब फीडबैक जो बोलते हैं ना कि यार कंसिस्टेंटली योर कॉफी इज नॉट कमिंग आउट गुड, कंसिस्टेंटली योर फूड इज नॉट कमिंग आउट गुड, देन वो इंटेंजिबल से जुड़ा हुआ है काफ़ी कुछ. ओपन टू फीडबैक, आई थिंक एज आई अर्लियर सेड कि आई वांट टू बी द सर्वेंट टू कॉरिडोर. सो बेसिकली व्हेन आई से सर्वेंट टू कॉरिडोर, आई एम द एम्बेसडर फॉर द गेस्ट एंड आई एम द सर्वेंट टू कॉरिडोर, राइट. सो आई एम द मिडलमैन बेसिकली. जिन आपको क्या चाहिए मैं इससे करवाता हूँ, यू हैव टू डू दिस बिकॉज दे, ऑफ कोर्स ये नहीं कि चनाचोर भी बेचो, बट kind of like the bean. So till the time you are not open, you really cannot do anything about it.
Okay, so I want you to picture something, like recall a memory.
Okay.
You're in Chikmagalur. You're taking a 13 rupee bus and hitchhiking.
क्या है यार भाई?
And you have 4,000 rupees in your bank account. And
if I ever forget something, I'm gonna get in touch with you.
Yeah. You can. Yeah. And then you're estate hopping.
Yeah.
Okay, and you meet with an accident there.
Yeah.
What was that accident? And in that time of your life, were you ever thinking, what the fuck am I doing? Like, what am I doing right now?
नहीं यार, वो तो कभी नहीं सोचा कि
What was that accident?
So I was hitchhiking and I was actually मैं तीसरे सीट क्या बोलते उसको ट्रिपल सीट थे.
On a bike?
On a bike.
Okay.
Alright. So I mean, if you know Chikmagalur, the estate owner that I went to, I told him I came by bus. He was like, there are no buses, bro, over here. मैंने तू क्या बोल रहा है मैं अभी उतरा हूँ. Like, what the hell is wrong with you, man? So he thought I am a completely lost case. तो but उसको नहीं पता था कि मेरा भाई मैं नहीं खर्चा कर सकता हूँ. खैर तो बस हो गया.
This is the same guy who has like 5 generations of that estate.
The Barbara estate, Sri Raksha.
Okay.
Very close
Yeah,
friend. That guy, yeah. I'm getting scared now.
sorry. Please
Okay, so I was asking for a lift, and then the two-wheeler stops, and I sat पीछे में, and coincidentally I was somehow just clicking a picture, like I just
Like you were just archiving that memory.
Yeah. And क्या हुआ कि हम लोग एक टेम्पो के पीछे थे. अभी वहां से मेरे को मैं ऐसा कर रहा था, मेरे को दिख गया था कि वहां से ट्रक आ रहा है.
Oh shit.
ये इसने he still took a left. And then he saw it, and then all of a sudden he moved, and there was
got
sand.
back into his lane.
Yeah, and there was sand over there. So everything was happening together. Sand as जो भी था वो silt जो भी, everything was happening together, and we fell.
Oh damn.
And like
3 of you.
Yeah, तीनों गिरे, मस्त गिरे. Luckily हम लोग इस side नहीं गिरे.
Okay.
But that was it. And
was there something to catch your fall, like there's some grass or?
No.
You fell like on the gravel.
On the road.
Oh,
on the road. सीधा on the road. Was it right, left? I don't know. I think it was a right shoulder. Yeah, I think it was a right shoulder. So that I fell on, and there was some इधर कहीं तो भी कुछ भी stone लगा था ऐसा इधर या कुछ तो भी. So but ठीक है, but never thought कि यार ऐसा कुछ.
That was also passion driven. That like.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll tell you a very funny story. What happened? You know, like what happened that time. So I had very less money and all those things, right? And I somehow met somebody from Google and I had.
Like somebody who works at Google.
Who works at Google.
Okay.
And I had gone to Chikmagalur from Alsi sir.
Okay.
Alsi sir में हमारा event चल रहा था.
Okay.
Alsi sir में magnetic fields करके there's something we were there. 3-4 nights I hadn't slept because we had events and all that, and it never felt like work. It never felt like I was with the previous company that time, and from there I had decided to go to Chikmagalur, go to Bangalore and Chikmagalur and all. So I met somebody from Google, and we've been in touch even now. So God works in very mysterious ways in a way. You know, like he was also wanting to come to Jaipur. मेरे पास I had no money. I had like, I mean, that would have been my last 4K by the way. वो भी नहीं रहते थे क्योंकि जो अलसी सर से जयपुर या अलसी सर से दिल्ली.
That's a long.
अलसी सर से दिल्ली, yeah. ओवरनाइट है वो. जाने के लिए I had an accountant कि यार इसके लिए पैसा लगेगा. That guy paid for it. Actually not even that. There was a German girl in the front seat. She was all high and she was flying back. She gave me this bundle of money, itna. And I'm like, what the hell is this? She's like, I don't need it, you keep it. Man, I'm mad or what, whatever. So that is how we paid for the cab.
Wow.
So वो बचे हुए थे. So it's very funny, you know, how things happen. So I never thought it's
That's amazing. That's how like the universe kind of like, I know you don't like manifestation, but like somewhere
no, but
those cycles were.
Yeah. I mean, the reason I don't like that word is क्योंकि वो overuse हो गया, बाकी कुछ नहीं, but है वही.
Today when you recall these memories, do you feel proud of yourself?
No, not proud. Proud, I don't like the word proud, to be very honest.
What do you feel?
I'm meant to be. Actually,
Destiny?
Maybe. But very basic part of my life. It's a story that you want to gather, and I was not gathering stories for the sake of story. Stories just kept happening. You know, it is that. Sometimes after a point of time...
Like in that moment, you were not thinking that this is a good story, I'll tell it when I'm successful.
कुछ भी नहीं. मैं successful कहाँ कुछ
You did not know this.
पता ही नहीं था यार क्या है ना, कुछ भी नहीं था.
Right.
Like क्या होने वाला है, क्या कभी सोचा ही नहीं यार आगे. I think that is the best thing to happen, you know. Like I'll tell you like...
But you know what is funny to me actually is that for someone who says that, you know, visualization and, you know, goals and targets and all of that, you really have like no like 5-year, 10-year plan. Or do you?
I have, of course. Of course. Yeah.
Because like एक लॉजिक होता है कि, you know, कि गाड़ी की हेडलाइट जहाँ तक जा रही है वहाँ तक चलो. दूसरा होता है कि, you know, पूरी लाइफ मैंने चार्ट करके रखी है. I know what I want to do.
Correct.
Where on that meter do you exist?
No, so the vision is there for sure. The plans keep changing. ठीक है, the plans are meant to change.
Okay.
Vision is there. किधर क्या कैसे, and the vision, as I said, like it should grow. It keeps growing. If it shrinks, then you're in a problem.
So you keep pushing that average. Like
once
you reach the end, you
Yeah. For sure. Okay. Like the one cookie thing that I said.
Voila. Okay. I wanted to know because, you know, I also, I was interested in problem solving.
Sure.
So, what is your reaction to disaster management?
I love it. First of all, I love a situation like that. Absolutely. क्योंकि उसके बाद बहुत कुछ चीज़ें ऑटो पायलट है. जैसे एग्जांपल बताता हूँ और बहुत सारी सही चीज़ें भी निकलती हैं उससे.
मतलब you're saying that a lot of SOPs come out of disaster management.
Absolutely.
Okay.
SOPs and बहुत सारी चीज़ें होते हैं और बहुत सारी सही चीज़ें. हाँ, अगर आप उसको ड्राइव कर पाए तो.
Can you give me an example?
Sure. 16 June last year, we had a fire incident. You don't know this?
Caught me off guard. This was at Birdie?
No. You
Damn.
guess now.
I know nothing about you.
So, alright, for the record, he doesn't know 16 June को क्या हुआ था. So, the Dharampet outlet, are you embarrassed?
No, I'm
No,
just, I'm satisfied that finally something.
अरे ऐसे बहुत सारी चीज़ें. खैर चलो. तो क्या हुआ था कि उसके पहले, so the entire point of opening the bigger outlet was that I wanted to tell people that boss, we are not associated with smoking. We don't sell cigarettes. You know?
It's written pretty clearly outside brim also.
True. So क्या हुआ है कि वहाँ पे in the COVID times what had happened was we were I would say killing it. I would rarely say that thing. We were killing it in the efforts I'm talking about because we did not give up. We were like ये करना है, let's push it. थोड़ा pause हुआ था and वो situation आया था जहाँ पे we might have called it off in a way because we are in a very tricky situation. तो हुआ क्या यार, we started like बहुत सारे लोग आने लग गए and then smoking sort of secluded corner and all. तो मैं बोला यार ये गलत है क्योंकि families नहीं आ रहे हैं और family इतना मेहनत करके इंडिया को represent किया है, मेरे को ये नहीं चाहिए कि बस ये तो सुट्टा केंद्र है, you know, in that way. So we started this place and for the first 6 months in a very prime location, imagine, right? In a very prime location, we started off 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. फिर 7 a.m. to 11 a.m. फिर 7 a.m. to 1 p.m. ऐसा धीरे we started with just a small bar, no seating. That's why it was called a standing room. The point was that you don't do a transaction. If you come and say, give me a cappuccino, boss, we are not interested. We're going to show you around. We're going to bore you. We're going to tell you who the hell are we. Come to the roastery पीछे में. We'll show you the entire tour. We'll give you everything. That was the intention. That was the aim. And no smoking, absolutely. और मेरे दिमाग में ऐसा था कि यार मेन रोड पे कौन स्मोक करेगा? Who's insane enough to do it? Well, I was so horribly wrong.
All smokers are insane enough to do that.
Yeah, I was so horribly wrong that at that corner there were 50-60 people standing with 2 cups of coffee. So business भी नहीं है. वो छोड़ दो, चलो business भी होता तो भी सही नहीं है. But it's a very weird feeling. It's a very weird feeling when there is an entire gathering and everybody's smoking. And I was like really irritated, like what is to be done. That is why I say luckily 16 जून को आग लगा. अच्छा, luckily 2 reason है 16 जून को, इसलिए मैं बोलता हूँ. एक तो ये स्मोकिंग का क्या हुआ मैं बताता हूँ. मैं 17 जून को वहाँ पे शिफ्ट होने वाला था. ठीक है.
Okay.
That was my office in the training center being built. So luckily 16 जून को आग लगा वहाँ पे, 17 को नहीं. And that fire was pretty massive. 3 fire tenders and
Oh damn.
it was really scary. We were scared for the dogs also over there. Everybody was safe. The other dirty story is that we got to know that it was on purpose, intentional. Who also we kind of
No.
Yeah. तो इसी में बोल रहा हूँ, thick skin जो है तो someday we'll take care, we'll see, you know, that way. तो अभी काम करो, अभी छोड़ दो सब कुछ. खैर ऐसा वाला तो वो thick skin का भी बात होता है. But that was a time when basically I took the opportunity saying that कल अगर किसी ने भी उधर पे माचिस की तिली भी जलाई ना, put 3 bouncers, 2 guards, no means no, whoever it is, be it my close friend, be it whoever it is, no means no. And वहाँ पे लिख दो वहाँ पे कि fire brigades ने basically बोला हुआ है not allowed and all those things. So that was an opportunity. After that, I mean, I would say 99% of the smoking has been curbed. Whoever smokes over there, वहाँ पे होता ही नहीं है smoking. So now the families are coming in. Now we can do what we wanted to do rather than like, then there were fights outside, there was all these things, absolutely. And have you seen a cafe having a bouncer? So that's why I say, like, what do you ask ना कि यार ये situation में कैसे, it depends on how you think about it. You can make the most out of that.
Now, this is something also I was trying to profile the guests when, you know, because in my head the perception was cool kids. That's it, you know, like young boys and girls,
काफी लोग हो गए
Gen Zs and all of that. But then I entered and there were like a couple of lawyers. There's like in the corner I could see near the tree that is jutting out. I could see that you know these like bureaucrat looking, like, you know, like people from they looked like they were from like some government office, and they're like families and all that, which was very interesting because I really thought that Corridor 7 was like, you know, cool.
Yeah. A lot of people do have that perception कि यार हम लोग आ नहीं सकते वहाँ पे because हमारे बच्चे बैठते हैं वहाँ पे तो हम लोग क्या you know that way. But even in the decks that we are presenting right now, I always keep telling. They ask me what is your target audience. मैं बोला कैसे बताऊँ तुमको?
It's so diverse.
So I tell them that my pitch deck is at Nagpur. You can come visit. Let me know when. You see, don't even tell me when you're coming. That's my pitch deck. You'll understand why I'm saying this. So I don't want to boil the ocean, but I know that everybody who really likes drinking, not even coffee, likes drinking, can be the guest, you know. So yeah, that's a very diverse kind of a culture.
Also, this was something a curiosity of mine. So there's this coffee guest that says, "अरे यार coffee दे दो, मुझे नहीं जानना कि वो क्या है."
True.
And then there's a coffee guest that says, you know, comes in with the refractometer.
Yeah.
And says that, you know, what is the grind and whatever.
Yeah.
So between these guests, what is your SOP to like manage that?
So
because मैंने ना कल जानबूझ के barista को बोला,
okay.
he said कि I said black coffee. He said blacksmith. नहीं मैंने black coffee चाहिए.
Okay.
I wanted to know what his interpretation of that average customer's requirement is, which was like pretty on point, but like I wanted to understand that what is that range? Is your like barista trained for that?
So we've got a lot of new team members now because of the primarily.
You're 50 plus, I think.
We are 100 plus.
Oh wow.
We're 107 now.
Oh wow.
But of course we've got a bakery unit as well. We've got in-house baking, all those departments and all. So we've got a lot of new team members who are kind of like reaching that stage, and you know. But एक चीज common है कि यार roastery tour, if you say, you know, next time whenever you come, you can just ask them, can I see the roastery? If it is heavy rush, absolutely, then that's kind of tricky. But they are told, you know, tell them yes, roastery tour hoga. They'll take you over there. So it's about like what the guest asks for, and at the same time the reverse is कि यार sometimes when you come for a basic cup of coffee, you just want to drink. And मेरे साथ भी हो चुका है, बहुत बार हो चुका है जब मैं बाकी outside cafes में जाता हूँ तो I say like one cappuccino for example or one americano, तो you know बोर कर देती है. सर मैंने ऐसा किया, सर मैंने वैसा किया. मैं बोला यार
you're not in the mood, do you
know man, I just want my coffee. छोड़ देता है यार आज के दिन. वो तुम साउजी जाओगे तो वो थोड़ी ना बोलूँगा मैं यहाँ से लाया, मैं नहीं वो ऐसे लाया, चलना यार छोड़ना that way. So you have to understand, like you have to draw a line कि tell as much as they want to know rather than tell as much as you want to know. You know, so that's one important thing.
Okay, so Mithilesh, I just wanted to wrap up on a note where, like, which is very close to your heart, which is faith in humanity. I know it's your ode to your community. Can you just speak to me why that is important and significant to you, and how it gets executed at your at C7?
Okay, great. So I mean, thanks for the question, because that is actually very very close. And so I take coffee as a community table, you know. So any store that we open, that is for sure that there will be a community table where, so if you see at Corridor 7, one of the great parts is like I've seen random people meeting each other and becoming friends and getting married or maybe starting business. Lot of stories are there like that. The point was about the community table and coffee being that, and it also brings in a cultural kind of a thing, if I want to put it, that like if I rewind myself a little bit, okay, जब मैं I used to go to CCD for coffee, amazing memories I've got, you know, amazing coffee छोड़ दो, questionable, but I've got amazing memories over there. So I put myself over there कि यार if there was a single table where 10 people were sitting, would I be comfortable? You know, because there are a lot of inhibitions I'm carrying. कि यार वो टाइम पे तो रहता था कि यार ये बॉम्बे गया था, ये दिल्ली से है, ये लंदन से है, you know, that way. Hey, even though you are very well traveled in badminton and all that, वो रहता है. So I put myself over there that, you know, if that is the case, then there are a lot of people who have this, for sure. Even now there are a lot of people who have it. That is where the community table comes in. That is where the community kind of a feeling kind of comes in. And faith in humanity is a space where if it's not a good deed also. It's nothing to do with a good deed. It is about letting people know, you know what, hey, you're a part of the culture. Like, you're a part of the culture, absolutely. Like, you want to eat. So what faith in humanity basically is the corner. We done this way back again, and we restarted it right now, around 6 months back, 7 months back, or maybe a year back, sorry, my bad. So faith in humanity is where the bakery team basically comes up with the blondies that we've got over there. It's kept outside, and there's a QR code, there is a payment box, it costs XYZ amount, you can pick it up, you want to pay, you don't want to pay, you don't pay. That's what the faith in humanity is. And more often than not, we have seen people have paid more. So if 10 costs 100 each, 1000 रहना चाहिए. Sometimes we've gotten 1050. Sometimes we've got even more. So it's no way of charity or NGO or anything. It is a give and take. But it's the feeling that you get that there is no bill, there is no transaction, there is no. So it's basically you are forming a part of the community.
Right.
You can also do it. You know, it's kind of that all getting together.
Right.
And at the same time, there is no shame involved in that कि यार मैंने उठाए पैसे नहीं भरा, कोई नहीं बोल रहा है आपको कुछ, कोई बंदा नहीं, कोई टेंशन नहीं. It's all okay. You know.
Because that giving, that extra giving is from your end as well.
Yeah.
For every 50 extra bucks that you get, there is like somebody you're feeding.
यार मैं वो देखता भी नहीं, वो इकोनॉमिक्स में देख ही नहीं रहा हूँ. मैंने स्ट्रिक्टली बोला हुआ मेरे को वो शीट मेरे को भेजो भी मत. फेथ इन ह्यूमैनिटी का आप फिगर आउट करो, वो कंटिन्यू होगा या नहीं होगा. लॉस है, जीरो है, बहुत बन रहा है, जो भी है वो मेरे को नहीं जानना. इट विल कीप गोइंग. टेल मी अबाउट द क्वालिटी ऑफ द प्रोडक्ट, दैट्स अबाउट इट. So that is what faith in humanity is, and it also drives from the fact that back when I was starting out, तो ना तब कुछ फर्नीचर नहीं, चेयर नहीं, कुछ भी नहीं था.
People used to bring in.
Yeah, man, क्या बताऊँ इसको भी सकता है.
I'm so sorry.
It's okay. No. Yeah, people used to actually bring in, यार. Like there were people who got furniture. They used to, यार वो तो बहुत सही memories थे कि मैं तो बहुत vocal हूँ यार, मेरे को क्या क्या पसंद है खाने के लिए. क्यों नहीं, you know, like if somebody is sending food, तो why not? So people used to get lunch. मैं यार मैं लंच कर रहा था, मैं तेरे साथ बैठता हूँ.
That's so nice.
Yeah, and वो मेरे को बिलीव था कि यार अगर ये अपने सिटी में है, so why not tell more people? Why not reach out? Of course, as I said earlier, कि डिस्काउंटिंग फैक्टर लगाओ उसको. Over a period of time, बहुत लोगों को कंसेप्ट समझेगा भी नहीं, बट जिसको समझाना 1000 में से 2 लोगों को समझा, गुड. ठीक है. सो यू हैव टू पुट द डिस्काउंट. अगर मैं बोलूँगा यार 100 में से 100 को लगना चाहिए आज भी जैसे पहले होता था, तो आई एम बोरिंग यू गाइस. आई विल बी लाइक यार वी आर हियर फॉर ब्रेकफास्ट मैन, क्या कर रहा है, राइट? तो वो सेल्स हो जाएगा, वो नहीं करना. रखो वहाँ पे, whoever wants to see it will see it. That will be at a lot of places, a lot of spaces, and it just gets a very good vibe and a very good feeling, you know. So that way. So that's what faith in
and it's such a powerful part of your community.
Crazy powerful it is. I mean, that's a byproduct, I would say though. But yeah, man, I mean, the city has been super amazing. And मैं PR के लिए नहीं बोल रहा हूँ genuinely, but city सही में बहुत सही रही है अपने साथ. क्योंकि अरे this तो I made maybe bottle me up probably. When the 16 June incident happened, right? I can't tell you, man. Like we were fighting the fire. Fire brigade को time लग रहा था जो भी. We were fighting the fire. I still remember. And have you guys ever faced fire incident? Never, right? I hope never, you guys.
Not directly. But okay. I'm in the LPG business, so.
Oh, okay, yeah. So when the fire is there, right? Everything becomes slow. Everything becomes so slow. Your 1 second is 20-30 seconds, and you are so hyper aware about things. You are thinking,
and those flames and
is the heat. No, but mentally you are so hyper aware कि आपको 5 का सुनाई देता था ना पहले, अभी 50 का सुनाई दे रहा है कि क्या क्या चल रहा है, क्योंकि you have to be aware, right? So when I was basically outside the road and I was putting water, I could hear from different इसमें. I get goosebumps. Look at this, man. Like so, people are calling कि भाई जल्दी आजा, बकेट लेके आजा, पानी लेके आजा, कॉरिडोर में आग लगी है. The amount of help, I get goosebumps over here, man. All over. The amount of help that community did was absolutely amazing. It was stunning. नहीं तो उस दिन पूरा धर्मपेट जल गया था. ठीक है, बहुत मुश्किल हो गया था वो. It would have been like crazy bad because it was reaching the cafe as well. It is where the roastery is right now, and we had cylinders over there. So we took those cylinders out, put it over there. Then the next, I still have a message of that person. So 2 दिन बाद जब मैंने there was somebody actually वो टाइम पे मेरे को कोई कॉल कर रहा था. ठीक है, तो मैं
obviously
तो फिर 2 दिन बाद मेरे को क्लिक हुआ, मैं यार भैया कॉल कर रहे थे, आई नीड टू कॉल हिम. सो आई सेंड हिम अ वीडियो कि यार ये हो रहा था, तो दैट्स व्हाई आई वाज अनएबल टू पिक अप. तो मैंने मैसेज किया, मैं फ़ोन रखा और मैं ऊपर गया एंड आई एम लाइक एक सेकंड, इनको ये तो नहीं लगा अभी आग लगी है. तो मैं इनको, तो उन्होंने बोला, मैंने उनको बोला भैया अभी नहीं परसों के बात है. तो वो बोले कि यार मैं बजाज नगर से अभी निकल गया था. यू नो दैट इज सच अ स्वीट जेस्चर बॉस. That makes so much sense. So that's something which really inspires me. Like that, and there is, you need to have the faith कि boss, there is some amazing stuff happening, and you can, of course, look, I'm not an artist. Let me be very honest. Artist मेरे definition में ऐसा है कि जो art करता है और पैसा छोड़ दो, मैं उसमें नहीं हूँ. For me that top line matters. For me also, तो हूँ मैं अंदर से, बनिया बोलो या businessman बोलो, जैसा भी, but मेरे को ये भी चीज़ें matter करता है. ठीक है, तो ऐसा नहीं है कि
this is some like charitable thing that you do.
No, not at all.
but it's actually such a strong emblem of community
Yeah,
that you've created.
I mean, yeah. So, and हमेशा जब so I was not here in the city for a very long period of time, and when I came back in 17, so I was on and off in the city, and 17 में when I came back, I was like, when I started meeting new people, यार वो time पे inside that place. So just for the perspective for everybody who's listening, कि we started from a place where like a place of Chandni Chowk in Delhi or a Crawford Market in Bombay, you know, जहाँ पे you would not expect a specialty coffee.
Right.
So Birdie was a place, I keep telling this thing that Birdie was a space where when you are young, if your parents go for their shopping, तो तुमको पता है कि 2 घंटा टीवी देख सकता हूँ. तो वैसा place है. It's a very inside. It's not
old market.
It's an old market place, right? तो तब बोर्ड नहीं था, तब पार्किंग नहीं था, तब ब्रांड नहीं था, मैं कुछ नहीं था, कुछ भी नहीं था. बट तब से people have started coming in. I mean, for that matter, even you guys had come in. So we were nothing absolutely that time. We were just doing something. That is where I genuinely believe कि यार मैं जब लोगों से मिल रहा हूँ तो छोटा सिटी नहीं है. Of course, not like a Bombay, Delhi and all those places, but हम लोग के दिमाग में जितना what we think is a small town, there are a lot of people to meet. A lot of crazy different people in the city.
There's still 40 lakh people plus.
There's still 40 lakh people plus. Yeah. So that was the entire thing of faith in humanity कि यार ये करने का है. And we always get good blessings in a way is what I feel. वो monetary हटा दो उसमें से. तो वही चाहिए वैसा. And अच्छा, I'll add on one more thing. We've got a very like blessing से याद आया. We also were blessed with not a kid. That is usually what I said, you know. That's how you usually said. We were also blessed with this thing that so there's a foundation called Zero Gravity. Maitri is the founder, and she's the daughter of late Shrikant Diskar sir. So amazing person. And when we started off ना तो तब she had come down कि यार हमको ना fund why don't you do a brewing workshop? We want to raise funds for somebody. For me it is like honestly when you want to do it ऐसा कोई चीज़ ना तो मेरे को बड़ा मज़ा आता है कि यार चलो थोड़ा सा deep, let's dig in. So I asked her like what is the cause and all that. So she was very clear what is the cause, and they are very clear with what they want to do. So I just proposed कि you know if we do a brewing workshop, maybe 15, maybe 20, maybe 30 लोग आएंगे. So she like then what? तो मैं बोला कि we want to see the place where you're raising the funds for. So there's a sheltered home in Rajnagar. You must have, I mean, everybody must have crossed that a lot of time. We just don't know it. So वहाँ पे ना there were around 84 miners who were basically abandoned and sad story. So and the place was in absolute mess. The washroom, there was only one washroom for those many girls, and उस पे there was like a अपना जितना palm रहता ना उतना काई moss जमा था. Really bad stuff. So really bad stuff over there. So she wanted to raise funds over there. So we started discussing and I said ki why don't you let us pop up a cafe over here. That's it. We vibed along, super nice. You will not believe in the and this is June 17, 18 17 June, 18 June, 19 June if I'm not wrong 2018 का. ठीक है, जब कॉफ़ी क्या है सिटी को पता नहीं था. इंडिया जानने लगी थी कॉफ़ी क्या है इन कि यार कुछ तो नया कुछ है. एंड इट वाज लाइक अ पोटेंशियल टाउन बट ऐसा कभी हुआ नहीं था. यू विल नॉट बिलीव on the first day we had 600 people.
Wow.
Second day we had 700-800 people. On the third day we had 1200 people at that place. And what the entire discussion was कि you know you need to make charity बोलो या donation बोलो as a part of your lifestyle. मैं अगर आपको बोलूँगा ना कि you know to you make this much, why don't you give? like यार ये तो बहुत ही
don't pressurize me.
Don't pressurize me, you know. It's not liberal, you know. so it's that, you know. So that turned out so beautiful. So that is a blessing that I was talking about. That is also the blessing that we've got. We raised a lot of funds. The entire place is transformed, and people started getting to know. And अच्छा वो ना first Saturday Sunday था हमारा. So for a hospitality industry, first Saturday Sunday.
To give up on that Saturday Sunday and to be doing this.
हाँ तो मैं गिना नहीं रहा हूँ, जता नहीं रहा हूँ, but it came very natural. Usually just to understand the first Saturday Sunday, it's like a big thing, right?
And maybe like monetarily also that's a payoff. When people see
it's a trust, bro. It's absolutely trust. Coffee is a medium of trust, I feel, you know, rather than anything. It's a medium of trust and medium of conversation and community table. So it's about that, and I'm so glad that I got this as my पैशन बोलो या वो भी ओवर यूज टर्म है, बट दैट एज माई बेसिक कनेक्शन. मैं फनी स्टोरी में 2006 का एक वीडियो मिला हमको जिसमें हम लोग फ्रेंड्स लोग बैठे एंड कुछ तो भी मैं बोलता हूँ और मैं बोला कि यार अरे ये सब छोड़ो मैं कॉफ़ी बनाओ गया एंड मैं पॉज के बोला यार अच्छा ओ या राइट 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 यू नो इट वाज ऑलवेज देयर बट आई एम सो ग्लैड दैट आई गॉट दिस एट द राइट टाइम क्योंकि ऑफकोर्स पैसे नहीं थे तो मैं शायद शादी भी कर नहीं पा रहा था कुछ भी नहीं हो रहा था वो अलग बात बट राइट टाइम बीइंग कि बिफोर दिस ऑल एक्सप्लोडेड or else then I would have been pressurizing myself ki shit I don't know the need to know this I need to know this I need to know this I need to do this but that is now balanced out that with I want to do this I like this you know that way अभी मैं देख रहा हूँ बहुत सारे लोग जो कॉफी में आ रहे थे like यार it's so overwhelming man it's so overwhelming what to do where to
so
do
many variables
yeah
so many
yeah,
things
yeah.
to do
so I'm so glad.
Well, thank you so much, Mithilesh. I think blessings from the community is a very heartening note to end this interview on. And thank you so much. I mean, never could I have imagined that my first actual guest would be someone like you.
I would say you did a bad choice. You know?
You need to work on your imposter syndrome. But thank you so much, Mithilesh, for joining me.
Yeah.
And if you have any feedback to give, please let me know.
No, absolutely. I mean, thank you so much. And feedback तो वही है यार कि research इतना तगड़ा है कि ऐसा raw agent and all that feeling आता है. So, no,
is that a good thing or a bad thing?
It is a good thing. It's a great thing because some of the questions and some of the topics कभी नहीं पूछा हुआ है. You know, it has always been how did you start or you know all those which is of course important and all but it's very refreshing good for a morning as well and especially when you're basically recovering from the chicken dunya it feels really refreshing as a start. Great questions, thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much, Mithilesh. Thank you.
Yeah, all the best.
If you learned something new from this episode of the Horsemouth podcast, do rate and review us on Spotify, Instagram, X, or wherever people engage with you the most.